What's up, everybody? Bitcoin looking pretty decent right now. Yeah, I think it looks great at the moment. Better than some of these altcoins, and that's a good thing because we want Bitcoin to lead the way and break out and get going. Same thing with Ethereum and XRP, and we'll get into that. But right here, let's zoom out. Let's figure out where we are. So we're battling this kind of upper zone in here, right? Trying to get to that all-time high. So, sentiment is good up here, but as soon as we get down here, it changes. And that's just the way it goes, right? So we could easily come back and retest this lower support right here. Or we can flag out in here like we're doing now. And look at that three-wave pullback, by the way. So we have an impulse. We have a three-wave pullback. Let's see if we can break out of here maybe this week or sometime next week. That would be a good thing to see. So I think that's very possible because the wave structure that I'm looking at right here, which, by the way, can be interpreted a couple different ways. First one here is you have a 5-wave move. You got 3 down. You got 3 up. Okay. And now you're going to get 3 back down. And then you're going to continue higher. And that probably goes into because here's the problem. Today's Friday. You're going to get into Saturday and Sunday. Usually Sundays are bad, right? They're bloody. And sometimes Saturdays and Mondays as well. So, we'll see if that plays. So basically we have 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down. That's a W, X, Y. It's a weird looking flat, but it's a 3-wave move to the downside. That's one way to interpret that wave. The other way is we have 5 waves that ends here, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. We have a 3-wave move here. So there's your 1, there's your 2. And then this here could be a 1 and a 2. And we can be going like a 1, 2, 1, 2 and continuing to eventually march higher once we kind of consolidate and get going. So yeah, those are the 2 counts that I'm looking at right now for the bulls. And for the bears, the only thing it could be a bear would be if this was like 3, right? We have a flat, and then we have another flat, and then we would get another 3-wave move down. So 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down, and then go up, take out that liquidity, and skyrocket to the upside. So those are the 3 Bitcoin ideas. Which one's going to play? I don't know. We'll find out. And the best way to find out is to just track the small time frames, right? You can kind of see a little bit of a trend line here. You can also see a little bit of a nope. So you don't really have anything up here. So in that instance, I usually go horizontal, right? Actually, what I'll do is I'll just pull this down to here. And then I'll bring that up. So we're kind of coiling in here. Let's see if this is some kind of an ascending triangle, right? If we lose this support, then we can open the discussion for either it being, like I said before, 3 down, 3 up, right? And then 3 back down, right? You take out this trend line here, get everybody bearish, right? You can also take out this vertical or this horizontal resistance here, get everybody bearish, right? That would be right at 100K, 9,900K, and then bam, power move to the upside. Or if we do break this and we come up and we get rejected, then we can look at the bigger, that other bearish move we were just talking about. So there's really three ideas at the moment. So let's see how it plays. Let's see how it all plays out. Would I buy Bitcoin right now? No. I wouldn't buy any Bitcoin ever. And, I probably won't buy Bitcoin ever again because there's just no money to be made. I can trade it, I can leverage it, I can make money that way. But as far as buying actual Bitcoin and holding it, it's going to take a bear market for that, right? So, for example, if we have a big alt season and then basically I take my profits, instead of taking it in 100% dollars, I can take it in 50% dollars, 50% Bitcoin. That way, when the Bitcoin dominance goes back up during the bear market, or so that's what they say, that's what's happened in the past, then I can retain my Satoshi value that way, right? Because it's all about stacking Satoshis, right? At the end of the day. But at the same time, if you value your crypto portfolio in Bitcoin, that's a healthy way to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want as much Bitcoin as possible, you shouldn't buy Bitcoin. You should get the altcoins, and that's not financial advice. I could be wrong, right? Altcoins can suck, and Bitcoin can keep rocking and rolling up to $1 million, and that's a 10x from here. But I have to be realistic and say, well, what's more likely? Like, for example, Theta. Is Theta more likely to get back to the retracement levels? Or is Bitcoin more likely to hit 600, 700,000? It's kind of like a no-brainer, right? So the best way to retain my Satoshi value, obviously, was, in hindsight, would be to stay in Bitcoin up until this area in here, right? And then once you're in here, that's when you want to rotate into XRP. And now you write up XRP. And then now, you pretty much, looking at XRP, it's a little bit dangerous because technically you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. But I don't think this fifth wave is finished. So that's kind of the deal, So ride that XRP up. And by the way, XRP is my biggest holding. It has been my biggest holding for multiple years. And it wasn't fun for a long time until just recently. So it's not like it's been all sunshine and rainbows. It's been hell. It's been torture. But at the same time, I held through it because I saw exactly what was happening on the chart when very few people could really see it. And not to say anything, but essentially we were building an accumulation range, right? We came down, we built a range, we broke up, and then we built a second range on top of the first. And that is really bullish. Not only that, but we also had 3 up, and then we had 3 down, okay? And you can also interpret it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. And then we had a big wave 1. We flagged out for a wave 2. And when we were flagging out for a wave 2, go back, watch the videos back over here in October, listen to what I was saying, listen to what other people, and you'll know right away how insanely bullish it was setting up to be. And now look at it. So do I sell it? Do I hold it? Do I rotate it? Well, that's the big question, right? And there's arguments for both sides, right? For example, I will eventually rotate it. I will eventually sell it. But I'm just not convinced at the moment right away. The reason why is because look at where we are on the macro chart, the big enchilada, right? We are literally at the all-time high, okay? So XRP, technically speaking, is much closer to price discovery than any coin on the planet, even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's been in price discovery ever since it broke 69K. So it's been there. XRP is on the verge, right? XRP is like on the border right here. Like it's an illegal alien and it's about to break for it. Bad analogy. But yeah, it's about to bust a move and break for it. And the bears are going to come chasing it down. But I don't think they're going to make it. At least until we get to like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bucks. And then we'll decide. But my strategy is, like, if you compare XRP to any other altcoin, it's night and day how bullish it is. Okay, but there's going to come a time where that rotation occurs. Like if we take a basic coin like ADA, you could see the difference. Number one, XRP has been doing this for 7 years. Okay. Bitcoin, so this goes back to 2018. If I put 2018 on ADA's chart, I can't even see it. I mean, it goes all the way back over here. Right? So it's, there's your 2017, 2018 run up. So we don't even really count that, right? The reason why XRP is having a much easier time than ADA is because ADA, nobody talks about this. I don't understand why. The reason why is because ADA went on a full-fledged bull run. Look at that. It went from $600 million all the way up. This is the market cap. All the way up to 100 billion. That's pretty gnarly. That's way over a 10x. I mean, let's see what the percentage is on that. And I'm not even going to do it from the bottom. I'm just going to do it from the base here. I mean, that's 12,000%. So that is like 120x. That's insane, right? So ADA is going to have a much harder time breaking above the all-time high because it just recently, back in 2020, 2021, right, went on a monster 10,000+% rally, while XRP, on the other hand, and this is why I was bullish on it, but not at the time, you could see here, it only went on a 1,300%, so about a 10 to 15x, while this one's more like 100x. So that took a lot out of it. It's like a horse, right? If a horse goes 200 miles versus a horse that goes 2 miles, the horse that went 200 miles is going to be freaking tired, okay? They're going to be exhausted. So XRP's horse has been sleeping pretty much, just walking around, just hanging out, at the ranch, whatever, just chilling, doing these small little trail rides, building up its muscle. And now it's like, okay, I'm ready to go out on a big adventure. While ADA, on the other hand, just came from a 200-mile hike or ride and now he's tired, right? He rested a little bit, maybe a couple days, but if you go to the gym and you work out and then you come home, you're okay. The next morning you're sore, right? It might take a couple days until you're not sore anymore. So think about it like that, okay? That's why when you look at ADA, it's nowhere near the all-time high. And here's another thing too. Look at the structure it created, right? We have a rise, we have a rise, we have a crash, we have a crash, we have a retrace. Could this be a retrace? And then you go back, and then you go back down to reaccumulation, you go back down to reaccumulation, then you go sideways, sideways, then breakout. Sideways, sideways, then breakout. That's what we don't know, And that's the problem we have. And that's why ADA and everything else was not my holding, my biggest holding. That's why XRP was, because once this was over and it was like confirmed, when we were down in this descending triangle and we broke down, it was pretty much over for the the bull market. So then I had to like reevaluate. I'm like, okay, what is it doing? Because I pretty much got screwed on this bull run, right? Because at the time, XRP was still my biggest holding back over here. So what's happening now is it's making up for all of this lost time. So the scale always balances, put it that way. It doesn't matter if it's a meme coin or a high octane utility coin like XRP. We don't care. You know why? Because it's not a utility market, it's a speculative market, right? SHIB has just as big a chance at making a lot of money as XRP, even though there's no utility with SHIB versus the caliber of what XRP is. It's an adult, it's a real utility coin, right? Versus a meme coin. Now, I'm not saying memes are bad or anything, but you have to just understand that it doesn't matter which one it is, because the price does not go up because of utility. It goes up because people are speculating, right? Which means once we get regulations, that's why I was positioning myself for XRP to be my biggest holding, because my intuition was that we were going to get regulations. I thought we could get it a lot sooner. First of all, I thought Trump could win. And I believe he did win in 2020. And then they stole it. So then I'm like, well, maybe we'll still get regulations. No. And then they sued us right in here after that. And then it was just basically it just prolonged the inevitable outcome of what was about to happen. So now fast forward today, there's two things I really, really like. Number one, XRP had this 2.5, 3 year reaccumulation structure, number one. And then number two, the lawsuit was deemed not a security right there. And then number three, they won the battle back over in here, a major thing, right? A settlement or what have you. And then they appealed it, but the appeal didn't really matter. And then we had the election where Trump is back in the White House. So it was like a recipe for the perfect storm for XRP to finally make its debut. And it just barely woken up. It's only at the all-time high here, right? So this is very important. So now when I go back in hindsight and I look back in time, I ask myself, well, what could I have done differently? Well, see, I didn't know. My initial thought here was that XRP was just going to go up. It was basically, it came up, it pulled back, and it's going to break out, right? Because it was going to go with the rest of the market. Like, for example, if I put my cursor, you see my cursor right there? You can see it on both sides. So the bottom here is the same bottom here. So look what ADA did. It went all the way up. So my intuition's like, okay, well, XRP should do the same, right? But then halfway up this hill, we got nailed with a lawsuit. And I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. I didn't sell my XRP. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have sold it into something else. I know my friend did. I know he said, nah, I'm not going to do this. So he got rid of it. I stuck through it. And then we had a big dump here. Look at this. Let me just show you here. And this is important. You go, what does this have to do with today's price action? Well, I'm going to explain in a minute. But essentially what we had here is we had this big dump, right? And then we came all the way back pretty quickly. And we came back to equal highs because we had a lot of bullish momentum. So despite the lawsuit, right, we had a lot of bullish momentum. So we came back up here around the 618 or so, and then that was all she had. She gassed out. That was it, right? So the mistake that I made, and it's always important to, obviously you can say, oh, hindsight 2020, but you want to go back in hindsight. You want to go back and see what you did wrong. You want to go back and say, what could I have done differently? And then what can I learn from that? And how can I position myself accordingly to what I've learned in the past, right? So what happened was I should have, when we got up here, I should have got out of the market, number one, or either rotate into something back when it was down here. But, that was like 5 years ago. So I've grown people can grow a lot in 1 year. People can, remember, high school is 4 years. Think about how much you'll learn in 4 years. Probably not a lot. Probably not a lot for some people, but think about, like you could get your, what is it, associate's degree, your bachelor's degree, in like 4 years or something like that. So 5 years hardcore on the charts, especially when you get burned. Well, I didn't get burned. So that's the thing. Like, I was buying up in here, but I didn't get the fruits of my labor. I didn't get what I wanted. I wasn't satisfied. I made a lot of money. I made so much money in Chainlink and ADA. Those were my two biggest ones. And then second to that was Theta. I didn't own as much Theta as I wanted, but Theta, ADA, and Chainlink. What else? VeChain. Obviously some Bitcoin. And I think that was it as far as the big home runs. And then I had a couple other little ones. But if it wasn't for those coins, I wouldn't have been nearly as well off as I am now, because that money really helped me in the bear market here. So what happened was, we had a descending triangle in here. Bitcoin was already baked. Like, let's look at Bitcoin here, right? You could see right here, we were kind of coming down and then we crashed. So when we crashed, I still held it. The reason why is because I was expecting a retracement. So when Bitcoin went up and it took the top, and XRP went up and it didn't take anything, it got stuck, that's when I knew maybe this thing's over. So then what happened was, Bitcoin started coming down. It looked like a 3-wave move. It looked like a flat coming in here. So I got out. I sold a little bit of my hodl position. But here's the thing. My whole thing was, well, what about the lawsuit, right? What if it gets resolved, in 6 months and then it blasts off? I would have wished I've never sold. So instead of selling 65, 70% like I would normally do, I sold like 25, 30%. And then I wrote it down. But here's the cool part. I didn't have to write it down that much from here, because remember, I was buying in here. So we went up and then we came down. I was still technically in profit over here. So, but then I realized, okay, well, what is it doing here? Like, if you look at Bitcoin, right? And this is important. This is a good learning experience right in here. So when I was looking at Bitcoin, I was thinking, okay, well, if this came up in 3 and it took the top and we had bearish divergence and XRP did not break the top, so what happened? Well, then I'm expecting an ABC, right? Well, then what do I need? I need 5 waves. So where did I get? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when we were in this 4th wave, everyone, like, what's his name? Garrett, that Garrett guy. He was on YouTube a lot. The trader, Gareth Soloway. He's, oh yeah, we're gonna go to 10K, we're gonna go to 8K, we're gonna go to 7K, and then not just him, but many other people, high level. I mean, these guys are way better than me. They're more successful. They're smarter, I guess. I don't know, but they were saying 10K, and I'm like, there's no way we're going to 10K. We got 5 waves, dude. We got bullish divergence between the 3rd and the 5th. We have a 5-wave move. We have a completed expanded flat. And when we came down to the 5th wave, look, you can see the big drop. You see the big drop, right? But look at this. This was a small drop, and we barely took out the low. And then we were chilling right there. So that's when I'm like, no. this thing's got to come up for a retracement. So my belief was, well, it could possibly, because there was so much bearishness, it actually affected me because I was thinking, well, maybe we're just going to come up into a retracement and then get some more reaccumulation and then go on a bull market later on. But what ended up happening was we actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves. Which means what? Which means this was not a 5-wave move. It was a C wave, a part of an expanded flat. Okay? So what does that mean? Now you fast forward to XRP, right? When we were in that, well, at the time, like if you look here, when we got up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? We were in the 4th wave. And that was not that long ago. And I was saying, guys, look, it's possible that we could go into reaccumulation and break out. That was my original idea. But the way the wave is shaped, right? If you look at Bitcoin here, I kept saying it's probably, a 3-way. We're flagging out, right? We have a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're flagging out. It looks pretty bullish. Let me just show you a real quick chart here of what the count was and how it affected my decision making and how this story can help somebody like maybe even you on what we're about to experience coming up soon. So, when we were in the thick of this thing, I said this is a good thing because we're sort of deleveraging the market. We're back testing in the altcoins. We're sort of chilling things out, right? So we had 3 down, we had 3 back up, and then we had 5 down. We had a A, B, C in here. We had a 3-wave move. Not only that, but you could have looked at it, like we're just flagging out, right? You can also look at it like, we had 3, and then this could have been 3 here. That was one of the ideas, but I said it's probably going to be too big. So what ended up happening was we had this 3-wave here. We're like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we kind of looked like a rising wedge. It looked honestly a little bit bearish, and it could be a 3-wave pullback. But the way it was moving up, it kept resetting itself like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then bam, we finally broke out. Okay, so if you go back to XRP for a minute, and I guess we don't need all the annotation or the drawings on there. So if I go to the weekly chart, there we go. And I put on Bitcoin as well. You could see, when did XRP officially blast off? Well, it blasted off that first candle where where Bitcoin blasted off. So you could see right here, we were flagging out, and as soon as Bitcoin took off, that's when XRP, that first little candle, and we were off to the races. But prior to that, and here's the big part right here. Prior to that, I had to ask myself, well, what am I going to do? And here, when we were back in here, because is it going to get worse? So then I thought to myself, well, we're probably going into reaccumulation similar to what happened back over here. We had this, reaccumulation. And then not only that, but this came all the way back down to this lower quadrant here. Whereas when we came down here, it basically cut it in half. It was in the middle, right? So you have your bottom, your top, and your middle. We chilled out in the middle. So that was actually a lot more bullish, right? Because it's when you have these shallow retraces, that was one thing we had to take into consideration. But now, if you look at something like, for example, Theta, okay, or let's see here, let me get this other chart, and we'll put XRP on here. Okay, so look at the drop Theta had to endure. So it was kind of a bittersweet situation, right? Because on one hand, XRP didn't make a lot of money, But on the way down, it was more conservative for losing a lot of money. Like, for example, if you were up here holding Theta at $15 and then you had to ride that sucker all the way down to, 50 cents, that's a massive loss, right? So XRP really retained a lot of its value in some regard versus Theta, from the top down to the bottom. I mean, you lost like 97%. That's insane. Okay, so but it'll make up for it later on. So we go back to XRP. Let's see, where's the other one? Here we go. We lost approximately, it shouldn't have been that much. It was 80%, right? So big difference. But anyways, where I'm getting at is this part right here was the most important part of the chart, because the way it was moving, right? When we had 3 up, I got a little bit nervous because I could say, okay, this is 3 down, this is 3 up, maybe we get like 5 back down. But what ended up happening was this ended up being like a flat in here, or like a shallow 3-way move. So you could really say that this was 3 down, W, this was 3 up, X, and then this was 3 back down, Y. And I've never really shared that too much. But what I'm getting at here, and this is where it's all leading to, is that if that is the count, right? If this is 3 down, W, 3 up, X, 3 down, Y, then that is what? A wave 2. Okay? And what does that mean? That means that this was a wave 1. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, so that's your wave 1. We pull back in this weird wave 2, and I don't like the shape. It's probably not the real count, but what I'm saying here is that this could be, we're in the wave 3 now, okay? So this could be 1, and then we have 2. Oops, let me do that again. 1, 2, and then we have 3. So now we're in the 3rd wave, and I think we got more to go, okay? And then we have a 4, like we had in here, right? And then we go up and hit 5. That is my ultra bull count, okay? Because this means that we're basically having another wave here versus what we were originally thinking, right? Which is what? This could be like a triangle, like A, B, C, D, and E. And that's valid too, right? Which means that's a 4th wave, which means what? You want 5 waves up. So we almost have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to come up and get 5, and then it's over. That's it. That's all you got. And that's still going to be a big payday, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 bucks, somewhere around there. We'll find out soon enough. We're going to get better measurements as we break out. We don't have to know right this second, right? So yeah, I think that's a big deal, right? And I think that's definitely, if you're watching, hit that like button, because I think this is a big game changer here. And I've always thought about it that way, but I didn't like it because it didn't really make sense as far as the bear market, because it was only an ABC here, right? So if we're looking at it from this perspective, we can say that this would be 1, 2, this was 3, right? And then this whole thing was 4. So this is 1, all of this is 2. Okay, and now we're going up into 5. So that's basically the traditional way to look at it. Now, the other way, again, would be if this was 5 here, right? So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I don't like it because look how small wave 3 is, or 4 is. It just didn't make sense, right? So we have a 1, so that could be your wave 1. And then this comes down for your wave 2, right? And then this is wave 1 of 3, wave 2 of 3, and now we're in wave 3 of 3, then 4, then 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3. And then we pull back for wave 4, and then we go up for wave 5, but that would most likely be a bear market. So you know what I mean? It's kind of confusing, but that's where I'm, it only took 35 minutes for me to get to that point. But there you go, right there. So here's my thing now. Now, this is the biggest thing right here. Ready? When we look at this, for example, like, let me put on like ADA, or we'll use a different example now. We'll say, let's see here. We'll say Dogecoin, I guess. Okay. So if we look at Dogecoin, just using it as an example, right? Dogecoin, let me make this bigger. And then this is the 2-week chart. I'm going to need this be the 2-week chart here. And I'm going to need this to be, we'll just leave it at the 2-week chart. So if you look at this right in here, this is where XRP is. Like right there. Okay. So if you look at it side by side, and I zoom all the way out completely, you can see, and actually let me take this off of there we go. Okay, so what we see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so if Dogecoin did that, why can't XRP? Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, and some people say, well, that was 5 and it was truncated. Well, that's true. And it at the time, it could have been that. But since we came back down here and since we went into reaccumulation, this whole thing was a base. So this whole thing was 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we had this monster, explosive, big, fat, huge wave for a wave 5. And now that's probably what we're in now for XRP, ladies and gentlemen. So where I was getting at here is, well, look what Dogecoin did back in 2021. It went extraordinarily high, whereas XRP only went over there. So people who hold Doge are like, well, how come XRP is going up? How come my Dogecoin is not going up? How come my Theta is not going up as strongly, as bigly, as strongly as XRP? How come my ADA? How come my VeChain? How come my Chainlink? How come my Solana? Well, maybe not Solana because it's already been quite a ways up. How come my Ethereum has not performed like XRP? Well, there you go. Nobody has the answer. Nobody has told you the answer except for this channel. I'm telling you the answer. I know the answer. And I'm not trying to be cocky because I'm really not. But on this subject, it's very clear why XRP is outperforming the rest of the market, because XRP has been suppressed artificially by the SEC ever since. And this comes into the whole fundamental and the whole political side of everything. And this is why I talk about Trump a lot, because of this whole reason. This is exactly, everything's boiling down to what we've been talking about for the last year, right? And at the time when we were down in here, nobody, maybe a few of you guys believed it. I would imagine a good amount, but they didn't really take it seriously. I don't know. But now we've broken out. Now you can say, well, now we're taken seriously. Like, look at the difference here. See, it's all about rotations. Big super monster wave, little baby wave. Okay. Now we're getting a little baby wave, and now we're getting a super monster wave. You see the difference? Small, big, big, small. So if that is this is the grand finale right here. This is the importance of understanding where we are in the market. And I think a lot of people didn't understand that. And that's why I was saying, XRP Theta, my biggest holding, but XRP is bigger. So, Theta, right, my second biggest holding. But remember, now let me go to Theta. Let me show you, and this is not because, I'm picking favorites. This is what the charts say, right? So if we go to Theta here and we look at it, okay, it's exactly the same. That's why all the other cryptos that went on a 2021 rally are going to have a much difficult time keeping up with XRP, because XRP, like I've used this example 6, 7, 8 months ago. And what did I say? I said, while Theta, Chainlinks, Solana, all of them, all the market was going out partying and drinking, all the crypto coins, they're out at the bar and they're having a good time and they're going from bar to bar to bar. And then they get home and they have a big headache. They have a big, what do you call those? Hangovers, right? Well, XRP, it stayed home and it was reading books and it was playing video games and it was exercising and it was having a Netflix and chill type of night. It was chilling, it was calm, and then it slept in for a while, right? And then now when it wakes up, now it has a lot of energy, and now look at that, it's very springy. Whereas all the other coins, they exuded all of their energy last bull cycle. Not now. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that now they can't have a bull cycle because they had a bull cycle before. What I'm saying is it's going to take longer for them. Why? Because of the structure, right? So that's why Theta wasn't my biggest holding, because it wasn't the right time. Now, where I made the mistake was, but I didn't know this because I didn't know XRP was going to be sued. I didn't know our Ripple was going to be sued. What I should have did before was had Theta be my biggest holding back over here. Rode up Theta, jumped out, right? And then got back in XRP, not Theta. You see what I mean? But what I did was I just held XRP all through here, and now we're here. And I could have avoided all that, but here's the thing. Who the hell knew XRP was going to be sued, right? And that's another thing. The SEC came in, and like Brad Garlinghouse said, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset on the planet until the SEC got involved. And that's why you're seeing this little snapback, this automatic reflex. It's like holding a beach ball underwater, times a million. And when you're holding it there, eventually you're going to get tired and you're going to let it go. And that's what we see happen here with XRP. This is the beach ball. And that's why I've always said XRP has the biggest base in crypto history. There's no other base bigger than XRP. XRP has the biggest base, right? Meaning the bigger the base, the higher in space, right? And what does that mean? It's like it's like the pyramids of Giza, right? What is the bottom? The bottom is the biggest layer, right? And then it gets smaller and then smaller, right? And then it goes up to a freaking pyramid, right? So you have to have that strong base at the bottom, okay? So, and that's what we have. Now, when you compare that to something like Theta, it has this monster beautiful, one of the most beautifulest waves I've ever seen. And then you have this pretty nice looking pullback. You got a 1, you got a 2. Well, then it needs to like rev up and rev up and rev up and rev up, and then it can go into its third wave. Or if we're lucky, this could be like let's do it like this now. Let me show you. Now let's move on to Theta real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2. So yeah, like a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we have this resistance right in here. I'm actually going to put this line right there. That's kind of the cut point, the halfway point here. Boom, boom, right? So you have your cupping into the resistance, you're cupping into the resistance. Now you're flagging out in here, right? We want to break above this and get to the upper part, right? And basically you have like level 1, level 2, and then all of this is level 3, and then you can go up onto level 4, right? Which is all-time highs. So what I'm saying is it's going to be harder for Theta to do that, not because Theta is bad or Theta is it's because it had a much more aggressive bull market, right? So even though we have, what was it, 22, 23, 24, 25, we've had 4 years go by. It doesn't matter. It's still not enough time. Not necessarily because of the time, but because of the structure, right? We've had a little bit of a base here. We got like a 1-2. So now, right, we need to obviously break above this. So, but here's the big thing. Do we have to go back into reaccumulation? Like, that's always the risk, right? Because if this, for example, this could have been like right here where we have a retrace, but this is a very shallow retrace. We came down, and then we went sideways a little bit, but not at the magnitude of this. This took 2-3 years. This took a few months, right? And then, so we might have to go sideways a little bit in here to break out. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but another way is that this is not complete, right? So we have, if you look closely, right, we have 3, and then this move down, right? And then we have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this becomes a big 3-wave move into the retracement levels. And then we come back down, and then we go sideways into reaccumulation, and then we break out at a later date. If we had that setup, and Theta had to do this for maybe 6 months to a year, then maybe at that point Theta would be by far my biggest holding. Why? Because of that setup, right? Because why? It had the rise, it had the crash, had the retrace, had the reaccumulation. We went sideways. It developed a base in here, not just a big dump and a big, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Or it could be the Ethereum model. And I've talked about this as well, where instead of, instead of rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, it's more like a W pattern where we have this and we just shoot up, right? But the odds of that happening might not be as more powerful as the odds of this happening. And now you understand why XRP was and still is my biggest holding. Now, you could say, well, how come not now, right? Well, because look how close we are. Look how close XRP is. Now, you could say, well, that's dangerous because we're at all-time highs, and that's true. It is. It could be dangerous and to some regards because XRP has a lot further way to go down than if Theta were to go down. There's a lot of support in here for Theta versus something like XRP. It's further away from support. But we're in a bullish market. We got Bitcoin over 100K, right? We have XRP right at all-time highs. So we're super, super close for this thing to pop into price discovery. Once it pops, though, once we get $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 in that area, right? That's when you want to start thinking about rotating into something like Theta, because now if I take a measurement from where we are here and I go up to, let's say I get up to 950, that's a 200% move, right? Okay, well, that's fine. That's a 2x. It's not a it's nothing to get a write home about, right? So if I go to 200% from where we are in Theta, and I go all the way up, right? That gets us to about $6 or so. So what's more likely to happen? You know what I mean? I think they're both likely to happen. That's the thing. I think they're both very likely to happen. But my hope here is that XRP does it first. That way, I can then rotate it into a cheap Theta and then ride that sucker up to the retracement levels. And then from there, we can have the possibility of something like Theta actually breaking out. Now, when I say Theta, I mean all the other coins. You know, I'm talking about all of them that went through this type of situation, right? I mean, we could look at Avalanche. It doesn't matter. We could look at Aave, right? We could look at Polygon, you know, we could, or Matic, right? We could look at FILECOIN. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about all of them, right? In some aspect here, right? So if we look at FILECOIN, I love FILECOIN. I think it looks amazing. We have this base in here, right? This is the coin that I would consider spot buying. You know, same with Theta, right? Because we're down here. So 1 2 1 2, right? Now let me go back to XRP here. Now look at the difference of these two charts, right? Now if we take a measurement, and if we have an alt season and we go up, this thing can go all the way up to 7,000, even 4,000 to 5,000%. It depends. It really depends on how much momentum this has, right? And we can even break out and go into new all-time highs, right? I mean, that would be great. I mean, the idea here would be something like this. Whoops. Where we have 1 2 1 2, right? And now we're in the middle of 1 2. We get 3 4 and 5. So that's 1 2 3, and then we kind of flag out in here and a 4, kind of like what we just had to go through with Bitcoin. And then we jump up into that fifth wave into price discovery, and then it's over, right? Or you can have something more bearish where you shoot up here, right, into a retrace, but then you have to come back down, and then you have to go sideways and then break out later on. And that'd be a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. But even if we had to do that, even if we had to go into a reaccumulation, we still have a lot of room to the upside for a retracement, even more so than XRP does going into price discovery. So that, my friends, is a big deal. And that's why I make these videos, because I feel like there's a gap in the YouTube world of people not informing you of that, right? I mean, most people, they take a chart, they take, you know, a coin, they look at it, they tell you what about it. I do that too, but what I'm doing here is I'm painting a picture of differences in how things work. Because at the end of the day, what is it all about? It's about money, okay? It's about making as much money as you possibly can. And the best way to do that is understand where each chart is and what the risks are involved. Because they all, because they're all correlated, right? So, to some extent, right? But if you look at the recent wave in XRP and you look at the recent wave in FILECOIN, I mean, there's no comparison. That's because FILECOIN isn't ready yet. It's not there yet, right? But it's getting there. And eventually, this will be too high risk. So my goal is to then rotate it into FILECOIN before we break this reaccumulation structure, then ride this sucker up into the retracement levels, then reevaluate. Because once we get up here, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging, right? Do we continue higher? Does this could go into reaccumulation? Or maybe this breaks out first and gets way up here, and then XRP pulls back. And then once this comes down, that's when XRP goes. So there's a lot of different things. That's why I recommend subscribing and even becoming a member, because the next member video I'm going to be discussing more in depth on how to go about thinking about this, you know. And of course, it's not financial advice, nothing is, but so anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Now we can look at a little bit of wave structure. I mean, since we're on FILECOIN, we'll look at it. Actually, we haven't even looked at XRP really, even though we were just looking at it forever. So here we are. So we have this price structure, and it's kind of like a miniature version of what's going on over here to some aspect, right? And then if we look at, for example, Bitcoin, it kind of reminds me of this chart on Bitcoin, this little wave in here. Let's go back here. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Almost, look at that. Interesting. Well, maybe not so much. You got this move here, and then you come down, swoop up, come down, swoop up. You know, you got your little liquidity grab, little move there, little move maybe here. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's not perfect. We're actually dumping right now. So yeah, the wave structure is challenging. It is pretty challenging. I'm not so sure. I mean, I know we have 3 here. Okay. Let me see if I zoom out a little bit. Or zoom in. Yeah, that's 3 for sure. Okay. This could be, but see, this looks like 5 to me. Okay, so all right, so we have 3 down, right? And then we have an impulse. Okay, so that's your 1. And then we have like an A. This could be a wave 2. This could be a 1. And this could be a 2, right? Or this could be some type of maybe like a triangle, A, B, C, D, E, right? A little bit of a triangle. So we have a 1 and then a 2 for a triangle. Usually 2s don't show up in, or usually triangles don't show up in 2s, but you know, it's okay. Another thing is we know that's 3. This could be 1, and then this could be a 3-way pullback. It kind of like a weird looking running flat. 1, A, B, C, right? And then we're just kind of like another 1, 2, and we're just kind of consolidating here, getting ready to gear up to break out. That's one way to look at it, right? Oh, that's a couple ways now. So this could also be 3, right? So boom, and then you get boom down. So you have a big 1, and then an A comes up for a B, and then we get C, and that's your 2. So something like that, and then we go up. So there you go. Those are some ideas we can work with. Everything's kind of dumping at the moment. Let's look at XLM. Same thing with XLM. I'd rather almost own XLM, maybe, simply because if you look at XRP here, you know, it's nowhere near that top, right? So we haven't broken out of it, but let's see. Yeah, XLM looks pretty decent here. You know, you're kind of flagging out. I want to see it break out, and I want to see it get going. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to hurry up here. Same thing with Algo. Jupiter seems to be coming back. That's good. Monero, let's check out Monero real quick. Monero looks okay. I mean, we could get like an ABC down here and then continue higher. Again, we are heading into the weekend. We talked about Bitcoin already. SHIB. I think I got a little bit of bullish divergence here on SHIB. I think it's a trap, guys. I think everybody thinks, okay, here's the range. We broke down. Obviously we could dump, right? But it could also be a trap, a liquidity grab, and then we go up. That's why we have to pay attention right now. So hit that like button. I just crossed an hour mark. Do it for the algorithms. I think this was a good video because it wasn't really traditional. I went in depth on a lot of things in regards to how things are set up and why things are the way they are. Let's see. Let's take another coin here. Okay, ICP. ICP looks okay. There you go. Look at ICP, guys. We got it. We got it. Look at this. Beautiful. 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down. I mean, you can't get any better than that, right? Now, I don't know if this is finished. I don't like how it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it comes down. We might have another wave down. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might have one more wave down. That's the part I don't really know. I'm not so sure yet. But yeah, I definitely will get on ICP once I get a clear move here. Okay, so we could go down to about $8 around the 1-to-1 extension here. If we have one more wave to the downside, that's a definitely buy the dip opportunity for me. 100%. Now, the average person will look at this and they'll say, oh, that's bearish. You got a head and shoulders here, and you're breaking down, and the measured move is approximately, let's see here. God damn it. There we go. About $7.63. I mean, that could be very well, that could totally happen, right? And maybe it will happen. But the way I see it is, I'm looking at this as a 3-wave move here, right? Anytime you have 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down, right? So here's your impulse, and then there's your 3-wave move right there. So you got a 1, you got a 2, let's go bonkers. And I think that's coming in February. If you look at February, it's pretty bullish for crypto historically. So, and everything's kind of lining up. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys, Donald J. Trump, and I put a video out yesterday. I think I was one of the first. I mean, I saw it. I believe I was watching it live. And he goes, I'm going to sign some executive orders. And he talked about the AI one. Like, okay. And then he goes, this is an executive order on crypto. And I'm like, oh, snap. So I looked at the price, and it was good that we didn't have any volatility during that announcement. So it's kind of like it's baking into the cake for something later on to happen. But yeah, we got it. And he didn't say Bitcoin. He said crypto, right? A crypto executive order, not just Bitcoin. So I don't know all the details about it completely, but anyways, Theta, Theta just doesn't look, Theta looks a little bearish to me. I just don't like this. I'm just not convinced. I just don't know. I feel like we might have another wave down. So for example, this could be 3 down, this could be 3 up, and then we get 1, 2, and then 3 back down, and then we have 3 waves in here that's just not quite finished yet. So I'm thinking that's kind of my main idea here. I think we're going to have another hit to the low down here, maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, then we start reversing. Now, is it possible we can hold in here? Yeah, it is. The best thing for Theta to do is kind of build a base in here and get moving that way. But I don't know. I'm not convinced completely. I'm a little bit just kind of waiting. And it kind of looks like a triangle, right? So you have like a 1, 2, 3, and then you have like A, B, C, D, E, right? There's your triangle. And then we break down for a wave 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then you got divergence between the 4th and the 5th, and then you continue higher. So if we get down here, I'm saying maybe $1.75 or so for Theta, maybe $1.65 around there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So, you know, because look at it this way: if you flip the chart upside down, kind of looks a little bullish, right? You kind of have like you're cupping into the resistance, you're cupping in, you're kind of flagging out in here. Kind of got like a little cup and handle in here. Maybe we break down and then we get rejected and then we, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see because today's Friday. It's our last day of the week, really. So Saturday, I'm expecting nothing. Sunday probably be down. Monday might be down as well. So protect your positions, you know. Bitcoin dominance still looks okay. You're getting rejected in here. That's good. It looks corrective. 3, 3, which could mean we have 3 down. And then this whole thing could be a bigger 3 up. And then we get that big move down somewhere around March or so. Or even February. We'll see how fast it actually takes effect. But, I mean, that's pretty much it for the rest of the charts. I mean, if we look at AVAX, you know, I kind of like AVAX better than Theta, the way it looks. I just, you know, and you have to think about it. Like, if AVAX looks okay and SHIB looks okay, then maybe Theta will be as well. You know, which one's telling the correct story? I don't know. So, but yeah, the way I look at this as it's doing exactly what it did before, right? Remember the fractal, right? You got 3 there, or actually 3 and then 3. You got 3 and then 3, right? It's obviously looks a lot different, but yeah, as long as we hold support in here and, you know, it looks corrective, we're building a base, we build a platform in here, and then we can break out, and I'm totally on board with that. So we'll see if that plays out. The next one would be Matic. Same thing with Matic. It's kind of just hanging by a thread here, so I'm just not so sure. Maybe we get a fast liquidity grab. I don't know. It's a tough spot because you're right on support here, and a lot of times when you dance around, you get a little bit of fake outs every once in a while. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Same thing. I mean, they're all the same. FILECOIN, Near Protocol, this one, Dot. I mean, they're pretty much all the same, right? You got this down sloping channel here, you know. So I imagine we get back up here at some point. But yeah, and it's all going to be about who's leading here. And this is why we need Ethereum to kick up into high gear. Now, I like Ethereum. I like the structure. I like the 3-wave pullback. And this to me actually looks like XRP right over here. Check this out. Let me see if it matches. If I can find it really fast. Well, this is Ethereum Classic now. What happened? Okay, so I gotta go back to Ethereum. I was just gonna say, this little pump and this little pullback here kind of reminds me of that there. So if we zoom in a little bit closer, maybe go to the 2-day chart there, and then look at Ethereum, and then zoom that down to like the 6-hour. There we go. And you can see, look at this. You got 3. It's obviously a different 3, but you got 3, right? And then you pump up, and then you flag out. And then you pump up, and then you flag out, right? And if you look at the flag itself, let me see if I could get a little bit closer here. Look how wonky it looks compared to this flag. It also looks a little wonky, right? You know, you got your impulse. You know, you got like a 3, kind of all this chop in here. And then you kind of hit the low, break out. Maybe we could keep going. I don't know. It's just a thought. Just a thought. That's going to be it for this video. I mean, if I didn't get to your coin, just look at others, right? So others is basically every coin on the planet. And the way I look at it is, you know, we're getting to an apex in here, right? So I want to see, is this going to break out or is it going to break down and then out? My opinion is that we're eventually going to break out. Do we have to come and hit the low again to break out? Maybe. We'll find out. But for me, these are buying opportunities left and right, right? For me, this is dollar cost average paradise. Okay, just look at all of these coins. Like, you know, they're pretty much all in price to dollar cost averaging, right? Here's Ton coin. You know, it's kind of just drizzling down here, you know, not so bad. USA oil, jeez, it's a scam. Tia, I mean, look at Tia. I mean, it's just been dead. Like, people say, oh, it's a dead coin, you know, and well, XRP was a dead coin. Here's the thing, you know, look how big this base is getting. It's getting massive. So, I wouldn't even know how to count this. I mean, I guess that would be a flat there, 3, right? And then you would have 3 down. That's another flat. And then you would want this to be your base, and then you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 3, or yeah, 3, 3, or actually it'd be 3, 3, 5. 3, 3, 5, yeah. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. It's gotten a little bit too long. Hopefully people still watch it. Maybe share the video if you can. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.